Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday it is. Happy Sunday. Another day's journey. Another day's journey. We made it. It's November the 30th, the last Sunday in November before we enter into December, which there's four more Sundays, and then it will be January. This year
Yeah,
went by pretty fast.
it did. It did.
I think with so much going on in our lives and probably our viewers' lives, it just seems like time has sped up faster than what it normally is. Um, but I'm looking forward to moving forward and in the days ahead. So, how was your Sunday thus far? I hope you enjoyed your weekend.
Yes, thus far, regular Sunday. Well, not regular Sunday, another Sunday to be blessed. But yeah, just doing household chores and getting ready for the work, the the week, the beginning of the week.
The beginning of the week, yes. Beginning of the week, yes. I tell you, just this past weekend, I had to kind of, I guess it's because so much is going on with so much being televised and emails and text messages and phone calls. And it's like your head just be saying, I need to take a break, because it could be overwhelming. And I see why people tend to not look at the news, say, hey, you know what? I don't need to look at the news. The news
Yeah,
is like
it's
a little
saturated with
overwhelmed.
it's saturated with bad news. It's
Oh,
never like a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It's just always all bad.
a
So,
whole lot of everything.
but
It's a
no
whole lot of,
good.
huh?
I say yeah, but no good.
Most of it is, yeah. And I'll be just looking for good news, just give me something, give me something, give me some kind of good news, because the way things are, um, it's just one of those situations. But you just got to keep pushing, keep moving forward, and doing our very best, um, to stay ahead.
Yes.
Did you? I don't think you connected yours.
It's
Um,
connected. It says connected at the top, and I
no,
see
it's
it
only
on. I
four
see
that's
it.
connected.
No,
It's
I see my page at the top. My
on my
icon.
on my end. It's not showing up for some reason. Let me just go to the pages and it would tell. But anyway, we made it through another Sunday. Happy birthday to those who are celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday. Any shout outs you want to do, Plum?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. No,
Not nobody, no shout outs. No
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. No.
Yeah, well, I'm shouting out to everybody who have a birthday today or this month.
Yes.
Or this month. And that means we're covering everybody. We're covering everybody. Any anniversaries?
Not that I can think of. No.
No anniversary. Still Sagittarius season. I see a lot of people are celebrating their birthdays still, which is good. Um, do you have anything planned for yours? I know yours is next month, but
No, I don't have anything planned. No.
nothing
God's willing to
planned.
still be alive, but no, I don't have anything planned.
Now, did you hear about what happened in California this morning about it happened yesterday, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, but when I woke up this morning, it was in the news about the birthday party where there were four, I don't know whether it's all adults or all children or a mixture, but there's children and adults. And I believe it was 10 who were also injured. And the shooter is still on the loose. I don't know whether
N-
they've been captured yet.
No, I didn't hear about. And you said it was in California.
It was in California. It was a birthday
No.
party
Mm-mm.
yesterday. And the tragedy shootout happened. Do I supposed to say? I don't. not supposed to say that word.
I don't.
I don't
I
know
don't.
what word I'm supposed to say or what word I'm supposed to say, not say. It's just so crazy.
Yeah.
It's got so many different words you can use, what you can't use. I guess
Hmm.
I need to go over that list and figure out what list so that I can make sure that I am in compliance
Yes.
and not speaking out of term. I don't want to do that.
Hmm.
It's very hard when you get shadow banned, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But anyway, let me see here. Happy anniversary to anyone who is celebrating the anniversary. Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary to you. Okay, so we're going to move into our first topic because we have a lot of stuff that we want to cover. But one of the things I wanted to talk about, which is important, is the all by heart baby formula on recall. I don't know if you heard about that.
No, I never even heard of that brand.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah, I never
But I
heard of
think
that.
it's more on the organic side, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never heard of
Yes,
that
more on
brand.
the organic side. But I want to show this video, so hold tight for me.
Health News. By Heart expands its voluntary recall of organic baby formula as cases of infant botulism linked to the product rises across the country.
All right, joining us now, Dr. Serge Sugger, Chief of Infectious Diseases at Holy Name Medical Center. Doctor, thanks for being here. Obviously, it's an alarming story here. What are investigators seeing so far?
Yeah, so far this is a multi-state outbreak. 15 children in 12 different states have been affected, and the common denominator seems to be that a large percentage of these children have ingested this particular dry powder infant formula. So a little background on botulism. It's not actually the bacteria that causes the problems, it's the toxin. So the name of the bacteria is called Clostridium botulism, but it's the botulinum toxin that the children under the age of 1 in particular are very, very sensitive and particularly sensitive to. The reason being is that their gut, their intestinal lining is not mature. So they ingest something called spores. Spores are the inactivated form of this bacteria. And these spores go into the gut and they germinate. Normally in adults and those with more strong, robust immune systems, that prevents these spores from germinating. But in children, they germinate and they produce this toxin. This toxin is called what we call in med school, and we teach our residents, floppy baby syndrome. It causes things like droopy eyelids, kind of a weak cough, weak crying, kind of a very tired, lethargic baby. If left unchecked in some cases, it can actually progress to where it affects the muscles that control breathing. Sometimes babies have to be put on respirators for a period of time. So as you can imagine, it is a very serious issue.
Yeah, and what can be really concerning too is that the baby doesn't necessarily have a fever associated with this, right?
Yeah, and even more so, there's a bit of a lag between when you're affected and when the symptoms show. So it can be actually several instances, it can be several weeks before we actually see the signs and symptoms of botulism. So right now we have 15 children in 12 different states. No children, thankfully, have died or been very seriously sick. But that certainly that outbreak could expand. One case in New Jersey, none so far in New York. But I think for anyone that has perhaps given their child this formula, they should certainly record the lot number and then throw away the formula and then watch their children for any signs and symptoms and then report to their pediatrician if they became concerned. This formula has been sold in numerous outlets, including Walmart, Costco, Target, etc. There does exist something called Baby Big, which is short for baby or botulism immunoglobulin. That's basically a pooled collection of antibodies that you can give that can attenuate or weaken the course of the disease. You have to give it early. So that's why it's really important for anyone who may have been affected or the child may have been affected to really watch for these signs and the symptoms of botulism.
Yeah, what's the advice to parents as this whole thing plays out?
Yeah, so we know that those under the age of 1 are at particular risk. There's really 3 types of botulism. There's one that can be acquired through wound. We call it wound botulism. One is through foods. The typical food that we tell parents not to give to the children under the age of 1 is honey. For whatever reason, this bacteria can colonize honey, especially natural honey, and then children can be affected. But really, parents should just kind of understand that this is still a very rare occurrence over the entire country. Only 15 children thus far have been affected, but they should take stock. They should take stock in terms of the lot number and the particular brand of infant formula they may have given. They should not continue if it is a specific brand that's been affected, and then let their pediatrician know, and then be on the lookout for the signs and symptoms, and certainly talk to the healthcare professionals if they're concerned. And at any instance of any type of something doesn't seem right, the baby's more lethargic, it's not crying, has droopy eyelids, again, this floppy baby syndrome, quote unquote, they should really report these symptoms and be extra cautious, report to their physician.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, doctor, thank you so much.
There you have it. So if anyone have the product by heart baby formula, you need to take the product back to the store and request a refund. I wouldn't suggest throwing it out because it would be wasting your money that you spent. So hopefully this information will be helpful. Now, I also want to say, I know some of you may have heard what happened to Tara Reid this past week, a few days ago, where she was out at a bar at a hotel and she went outside to smoke a drink, left her drink at the bar, came back, and I wasn't surprised what happened to her, of course, when you leave your drink, right? I'm just surprised in 2025 that people are still leaving their drinks at the bar. It's like, I'm not understanding this. Like, you're a grown woman. How could you leave your drink unattended? It didn't even say whether you had friends or family that was with you. Obviously, they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
And you came back, someone covered your drink. Let me show the video. Stay tuned.
We had remember when they were in Vegas, we had we call it, what was I drinking? Shut the you know what?
Put that to the chair. Put that to the chair.
Give her a second. Give her a second.
You touch me again, we're gonna have a problem. I want to go there.
Now, like that. I gotta look at
Give her a second.
that. Is her. That is her.
She came over and talked to me. I didn't know who she was.
I understand.
I understand.
I want to take you to your room, okay?
And
I
Fred.
want to take you to your room. Sit on the chair.
Is that pathetic?
You're all right. You're all right. No
What's
worries.
wrong with you now? Come on, guys.
She was out of it.
No, I was just trying to make sure she's okay. No, security. He was like, "You touch me one more time." I was like, "Yeah."
How you doing, guys?
Right.
Captain Sean,
No,
Hey.
Sean.
my partner in crime over here, man.
That's it. I'm gonna salute all of you guys.
Tara.
Hello.
Say Tara. Tara,
Be safe, Tara.
No. Let her go. Let her go with.
Now that was reported by TMZ, but I'm like so surprised. 2025, people are still leaving their drink to go outside, to completely leave the room and go outside to smoke a cigarette and come back. I'm not surprised what happened, because when you do these types of things, this is what could happen to you. Hey, Linda, thank you so much for joining. Dottie, thanks so much for joining. Appreciate you joining us. I just thought, being that we're in 2025, isn't that something that most people would know? But I'm sure our viewers, our co-hosts, they're smart. They know that they would never walk away from their drink to go smoke a cigarette, go make a phone call without having someone to watch their drink, or you're visibly able to see your drink. Because if not, I feel as though when you do these type of things, you're asking for trouble. You're asking for trouble. Hope she's okay. Hope they find out who did this to her. And but we're living in a time where you can't leave your drinks unattended. That's for sure. Now I want to change to talk about the governor of New Jersey, and I'm going to post a link in our comments. The New Jersey governor elect, Mickey, is asking for your opinion. She wants you to take a survey and she wants you to give your opinion of what you would like to see changed in the state of New Jersey. This is something new, something different. I don't think we ever had anybody to kind of ask our opinion and put it in a poll or a survey, but it's different. And this is for Republicans, Democrats, and independents. You can let your voice be heard, whether you agree with some of the things that's happening in New Jersey or you like the things that's happening in New Jersey. Anything you want to see change, you can voice your opinion. And there is a survey, and I will post the survey in the chat so that you'll be able to see the survey itself. So if you're living in New Jersey, it's free, doesn't cost you anything to take the survey. It's free. I think that's kind of good. One of the things I would like to see happen, I would like to see happen that some of the people who are paying so much in property taxes, the property taxes. I know we need property taxes to provide services, police department, fire department, EMT, whoever is receiving funds from the state. However, some people's property taxes in New Jersey is 30, 40, $50,000 a year. That's crazy. The other thing I think that people don't take advantage of in New Jersey, they have, well, in most counties, I should say, because every county works differently, whereby you have the right to fill out a assessment, meaning you can challenge the assessors or appeal the assessors. Say, for example, if your neighbor has a similar house, similar square footage like your home, and they're paying less taxes, you can write into the tax assessor's office to find out why are you paying more taxes than your neighbor. But it has to be similar home. It can't be a ranch home to a colonial, or a Cape Cod to a ranch. It has to be similar square footage of the exterior and interior. So there's a lot of factors that go into consideration when you are appealing your property taxes. But I suggest when you get those little cards, everyone gets those little cards in the mail during tax season. Those cards allow you to be able to fill it out and contact the tax assessor's office so that you could be able to appeal your taxes. A lot of times people do not compare. They just say, okay, well, it's $10,000. I'll just pay $10,000. It's $12,000. I'll just pay $12,000. I remember we were living in I remember when we were living in Willingboro, our taxes was like $10,000 a year. And I was like, what the heck? It was crazy, but when we compared it to our neighbors, we found out we were paying a lot more, and it did bring the taxes down. So the appeals do work. The appeals do work. So you want to take that in consideration. And what I mean by the type of house, everybody knows, you should know what type of house you're living in, whether it's a ranch or a Cape Cod or a split level, bi-level. Once you know the type of home you live in, then you look at your neighbor's home within a certain proximity. I'm going to guess about a mile. You can't be like 10, 15 miles away. It has to be within the area of
reason.
the subject property.
Within reason, like as far as distance.
Correct. Within the same town. Okay. And so, when you find that find out what your neighbor is paying, but if you have a 4-bedroom, they have a 4-bedroom. You can't compare. If you have a 6-bedroom and they have a 3-bedroom, it has to be things that are similar. Things that are similar. But I think the governor, Mikey. Yes, she is governor-elect, I should say. She is doing a survey. And for those who would like to participate, I will put the link. Let me see. I should be able to show you the link. Let me just show you the link so when you see it, it will be familiar. Let's see. Is this it? Yes, here it is. This is what the survey looks like. Okay. And basically it asks you questions, and you fill out the questions, and it'll give you an opportunity to actually fill in the blanks as you see fit. So I say don't complain. If you see something you want to get addressed, this is your opportunity.
And I do have something that is related, but not really related, but related. Please make sure that your mortgage servicing company has your correct parcel. I have seen borrowers pay the wrong parcel for their taxes, and it's very sticky, and they didn't catch it. And it was higher. They ended up, getting like an escrow analysis, and then they trying to figure out, well, where in the world and why in the world, and am I paying so much more now?
Yeah.
And when we did a deep dive, they were paying the wrong parcel. They were paying their neighbor's taxes.
Somebody else, yeah.
Somebody else's taxes. So please stay on top of your mortgage servicing company as well.
Yeah. Let's dive into that a little bit, being that you brought that up, which is a good topic. Because we see every year there is some sort of dispute. We'll see on the client's 1098, excuse me, their reporting statement from their mortgage company. We'll see the property taxes is say $6,000, but then when we cross-reference, we always cross-reference. That's just the way. I'm an old timer when I do tax returns. That's just the way I do them. But then when you look at the tax assessor's office or who you pay your taxes, property taxes to, it's a whole different number. So the property tax assessor's office received more money than what's being reported on your 1098. So you want to cross-reference because those numbers supposed to match. They supposed to match. Even with an escrow, they
Yes,
supposed
absolutely.
to.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you want to report what was paid.
Absolutely.
You want to report what was paid, because when you're filing your taxes with Internal Revenue Service wants to know what you paid. Okay. That's what you're reporting, is what you paid. So you want to be mindful of that. You want to be mindful when you get your end of the year statement from your mortgage company. Make sure that the property tax information matches what your state taxation office is stating. We have had that happen. It happens every year for us. And the client is very surprised. And of course, they call their mortgage company to find out what's going on. And the mortgage company then have to dive in and figure out why this has taken place.
And I made many corrections to 1098s.
Yeah.
And it's something that if they don't catch it and they don't question it, then it's just like, and it just goes on, and you're missing out on the opportunity to reap the benefits of the amount that you actually paid,
Right.
So you want to make
Tell
sure
a little bit about, you don't have to name the company, but what you did when you were making the corrections. What type of work were you doing?
So, well, the company I was working for was a mortgage servicing company, and the main objective of our corrections sometimes would be a cancellation of debt. So now we have to go and redo the 1098 in its entirety. But majority of the time it would be numerical. It was a payment was not applied correctly, or wrong parcel, or stuff that you'd be like, with all this technology, why is this happening?
Right.
So, and it was not a not busy department. We were very, very busy making corrections and literally having to go over every single 1098 to make sure that the ones that were going out was correct. Matching everything. But again, we're matching what our system says, not necessarily what the county is saying. So I encourage you that when you get it, don't just take it for face value. Do go on your county's assessors off the website. Every county has one right online. You can look it right up and be able to get the information to make sure that it matches.
Right. Totally agree. We're going to dive into some taxes. Before we dive into some taxes, I wanted to talk about the SAVE Act. I don't know whether you heard about the SAVE Act, what they're not telling you about proven citizenship to vote. Now, I don't know whether this is going to be such a big issue when 2026 come around to vote locally, because locally, correct me if I'm wrong, is handled by the states, right? But federal in 2028, this may be a big problem. Now, if you are in a state whereby they're enforcing the SAVE Act, then this could also be a problem. And I want to share some videos with you so you can understand what we mean. And we're going to give you a perspective from both sides of the fence. So hold tight for me.
Today, I introduced an amendment that would have stopped this bill from being implemented unless we could just certify that no eligible married woman would be denied the right to vote. That should go without saying. Republicans blocked it. Let me repeat that. Republicans voted down my amendment that just would have ensured that women who are eligible and registered could still cast their ballot. This puts up to 70 million women at risk of disenfranchisement. 70 million. That's 1 in 4 voters in this country. And the burden will fall hardest on working mothers, caregivers, those juggling jobs and families who have barely a moment to spare. It's outrageous that in the year 2025, more than a century after the 19th Amendment was ratified, we still have to defend a woman's right to vote. But we will, every single day, if that's what it takes, because this is personal. It's for the mom in Gresham who can't afford to take unpaid time off work to go hunt down paperwork. It's for the woman in Hood River whose name no longer matches her birth certificate, who doesn't have the $160 for a passport. Are we really going to tell her she can't vote? Republicans failed to show up for their mothers, their daughters, their wives, and every woman in their life. But we are going to keep showing up, and we're just getting started. We're not going to stop until we build a government where working mothers and families can also thrive.
There you have it. Now, I want to give a different perspective. So I want to hear from Miss Kyline. Just hold tight for me.
Married women, soon to be married women, are concerned that the new voter ID requirements may inhibit their access to the polls. What assurances can you give women voters in America to ease their concerns?
Sure. Well, the SAVE Act, as you mentioned, was passed by the House yesterday. This is the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. I believe I'm getting that correct. And this act is a common sense measure. It would require proof of citizenship for voting in our elections. The Democrats have been fear-mongering about this bill, have been saying that married women, if their name has changed, they didn't change it on their identification, would not be able to vote. That is complete fallacy. There are outlined in the bill about how to avoid that. The president very much supports a common sense solution to ensuring that only citizens can engage in our elections. This is critical to improving the integrity of our elections and also the trust that American citizens need to have in our electoral process. So the president supports this bill, and that is a myth that has been proven wrong by the text of this bill. And I believe some of the co-sponsors of the bill have been very vocal in addressing that. And certainly I myself, as a married woman, would not stand before this podium if the president did not support such a common sense measure.
Okay, so there you have it from her. Now, what does it mean when they say you have to be a citizen of the United States? How can you prove that, right? Now, there's 2 ways. Your birth certificate is number 1, and a passport, right? So your driver's license don't necessarily say you are a citizen, but your driver's license does not, but your birth certificate and your passport. Now, let's say that these are the two items that they are accepting. However, they put in, and this is something that they put into the bill, that the birth certificate and the ID must match. And that's why a lot of women are up in arms, because if you're married like you, okay, like I once was, you're not going to match your birth certificate. So that would knock out over 70,000, 70 million, a lot of women from not being eligible to vote. Now, if they stick to you must be a citizen, that means you have to have a passport or your birth certificate. Now, if you bring your birth certificate, they may say you need an ID. So if you bring your ID and it don't match, you're still back at square one.
Well, I'm gonna have all of it. I'm gonna have my ID, my birth certificate, and my marriage license. This is when my name got changed. This was my previous name, but whatever, you just have to make sure they're gonna put roadblocks. You just have to make sure you don't just be like, okay, forget it, I ain't gonna vote. Listen,
Right.
once the
Please
roadblocks,
don't
try
do
to be
that.
prepared.
Don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. But let me just say this, because we really don't know how many illegal people are voting, right? We don't know. Can we truly say there's none? No one can truly say that there's no illegal people who are voting, because that might not be true. However, having an ID is not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But a driver's license, a photo ID, a federal ID, state ID is not sufficient enough in their eyes. It's from what I'm gathering from this conversation and from this SAFE Act, which is disturbing, to say the least. Which is disturbing, because when you get your driver's license, you have to do 6 points in New Jersey. I don't know what other states, but I know in
it's
New Jersey.
9.
Oh, it's 9?
I think it's a lot. I know it ain't easy. I know that stops.
It's not easy, and they take you through the loops. So you're already going through the loops by even getting your driver's license. So now you have to go through even more loops just to be able to vote. But we need to vote. We need to vote in 2026. We need to vote in 2028. Our world is changing. And if you are paying attention, I don't see. Now, listen, let me just say me. I count for a living, and I pay attention to finance, Bloomberg, stock market, all of that. And when you talk about tampering with the livelihood of those who are trying to make it, that to me is disturbing. Where you're channeling it in on the food stamps. And, of course, I don't know whether everyone knows that they have to reapply. So I'm hoping that we did talk about that last Sunday. But yes, you do have to reapply when you are trying to continue with your food stamps. I don't know whether it's going to be easier or harder. Come January 2026, that's when we're really going to be seeing about this health insurance. Come January 2026, we're going to see what's happening with Congress, the state, the House, and we're going to really see whether or not there's going to be another shutdown. Remains to be seen. Remains to be seen. Okay, so right now we're going to dive into some taxes. Now, I didn't know whether you knew that the child tax credit has increased. So that means that you will get more money for the child tax credit, which is a benefit, right? Those
Absolutely.
who
I say, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the child tax credit has increased, which I find that with the child tax credit, of course, when you reach the age of 16, at a certain standpoint, you're no longer even eligible. Now, there is an increase, which they do this every year with the standard deduction amount. So that's going to be raised to $15,750 for single filers and $31,500 for married and $23,625 for head of household. That's great, which that happens every year, right? So that's no surprise that has taken place. Now, we already know about the overtime, and I know people are very disturbed because they thought the overtime did not have a cap, but yes, it does have a cap on the overtime. And with the cap, with the cap is $25,000 is the maximum. 25,000 is the maximum. Now, this law is good until 2028. Okay, it's good until 2028. After 2028, then I guess they'll be even extending it or canceling it out altogether. But for right now, the other thing which is good, if you buy a new car, if you purchase a new car, you can write the interest. If you purchase a new car, you can write the interest, which is good. Now, I also want to say, and I know a lot of people are not aware of this, that if you purchase an electric car, and there's some cars now, I'm going to add that to our comments, so that if you're out trying to purchase a new vehicle, there are Internal Revenue Service have a list of vehicles that you can be able to get up to $10,000 in credits. Okay, which is good. You can get tax credits back, which is good for an electric car. Now, not every car is eligible to receive the benefit, but if you're thinking about purchasing a car come, the end of the year or moving forward in 2026, you might want to take that in consideration. One of the things I think that I love a lot is where if you have a home and it's your primary residence and you lived in the home up to 2 years, you would not be paying any capital gains up to $250,000 and $500,000 on married filing joint. So that means if you're living in the house you're living in right now and you decide you want to move, and you move and you receive $200,000 in profits that you made off the house in 2 years, as long as it was your primary residence, there's no taxes on the first $250,000. Now, let me just say this. We have clients that take advantage of that. They stay in the house for 4 years, 3 years, and they move to another house. Stay in there for 3, 4 years, moving to another house. They do not get attached to houses, but they do take advantage of the tax credits. And that's why some people are able to open up grocery stores, laundromats, and gas stations, and things of that nature, because of the tax benefits that come along with it. One of the things also, and I think this is very important, a lot of people have this thing about getting paid underneath the table. Oh, I'm getting paid underneath the table. Yeah, I'm getting paid on the table. But let me just say this. A lot of people that get paid underneath the table, do you know you're cheating yourself? More than likely, you may be cheating yourself out of a refund. I'll give you an example. A woman who has 3 children, babysits at home, makes about $10,000 for the year. She would more than likely get a refund back. But getting paid underneath the table, she don't get anything. And we know getting paid underneath the table is against the law, right? But I always tell people, find out what you receive. Because getting paid underneath the table, you're more than likely cheating yourself.
Yeah.
More than likely you're cheating yourself. So I'm definitely one to advocate to say, don't do it. And if you are doing it, find out what type of tax situation you would be in if you were to file your earnings. Especially if you want to go buy a house, you want to go buy a car, you want to do different things that you may need to report your income.
Yeah.
But if you don't report your income.
And then people don't even realize if you're actually, some people may do hair and they operate out of their house and they're getting paid good money. But come tax season, they may have a regular job, a regular
Yeah.
job, but then they do that on the side. They don't even realize that all of those expenses that they did during their side job, they can't. It amounts for nothing because you can't really do much. You're not on paper saying that you're getting paid for doing hair.
Yeah.
So it's a disadvantage. So yes, of course, I ain't paying taxes, but you're missing out on what you could be receiving.
Right. But see, the crazy part is they say they're not paying taxes, but neither is Warren Buffett, neither is Jeff Bezos, neither is Mark Zuckerberg, neither all these billionaires that I'm telling you. They ain't paying either. So you need to find out what structurally you qualify for, because you probably more than likely is cheating yourself because of lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
And lack of knowledge is not powerful.
No.
It really isn't. One of the things I wanted to share with everyone coming up, we will be having, let me just see what I can pull it up here. Shakira, you can explain about the write-off to 200 write-offs that will be coming up that we will be sharing with everyone.
Yes. So we have compiled a list of over 150 different professions. And we have tailored tax write-offs for that particular business, meaning things that are going to be related to that business. It's not generic. It's not just one size fit all. We really wanted to make sure that if you are a person that owns that's an Airbnb host, that you can really maximize on your return. If you are a tax preparer, if you are a hair salon owner, a barbershop owner, all of the things, we want to make sure that you're able to write off everything that you can that is allowed by IRS. So it is tailored to each individual type of entrepreneurship. So that will be coming up for you guys very soon.
Yes, actually, Wednesday would be the day that we'll launch it.
Mm-hmm.
So that, because what happens is a lot of times people, first thing they say, well, what can I write off? I don't even know what I can write off. I have no idea what I can write off. And we want to make sure that we want to make sure you know what you can write off, because it's very important. You might be throwing away receipts right now that you could be writing off that would bring your taxable liability down. See, the key thing is to bring your taxable liability down to a zero. So if you had any federal withholding, you would get all that money back. That's the key, right?
Yes.
You want to get it down to a zero. So with this, we have approximately how many categories is it?
Categories. Ooh,
I think it's over 150.
It's 200 total. Plus, you can add. We also gave the option of if you have, you may have a tailored deduction that is tailored for your business. We have a spot for you to be able to put that information there, because a lot of times people don't. We're trying to equip you before tax season hit so that you know to be prepared. We want you to have this list moving forward so that you know that, okay, I'm going to start off fresh in 2026 to know exactly what I need to be calculating and keeping track of. Because a lot of times people come to us and we're asking them questions. Well, what did you spend on that? They have no idea. They don't remember. But if you have something that's telling you what to look out for, it's going to better prepare you. A lot of times, every time that I do someone's taxes that have never experienced our type of approach, with all the questions that we ask, sorry. Okay. Here, go sit over there with mommy's phone. There you go. Go watch Evan.
That's our future president.
Usually, when I'm doing someone's tax return, 9 times out of 10, they'll say, "I didn't know I could write off car washes. I didn't know I can write. I work outside of my house. I didn't know that was considered a home office. I didn't know these things." So we want to make sure that you're in the know, because knowledge is power. And if you know moving forward, then you will move differently, right? You will make sure you don't throw those receipts away. You will make sure that I'm gonna make sure I keep my receipts for my car washes, or I'm gonna get my car washed because I know I can write that off on my taxes.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Very, very important. Now, the other thing I want to say, and this is structurally because I'm 40 years in with doing taxes. So the way I look at a person's return, when I look at a W-2. I look at a W-2 with your federal withholding as a savings account that is not drawing any interest. You look at it like a savings account because you want to be able to withdraw on that, make a withdrawal on that savings account at the end of the year. So if you look at your pay stub right now and pulled out your pay stub and looked at your federal withholding year to date, that is the amount that you want to receive back plus. And when I mean plus, that means some credits, some free money, right? Some free money. So when you look at it that way, it's going to make your mindset shift, because a lot of people don't look at it. We have clients that have over $200,000 withheld from their federal withholding, 100,000, 60,000, different amounts. And when we structurally show them how they're able to legally reorganize the way in which they do their daily living, they find out that that refund is something to look forward to. Now, let's say that if President Donald Trump is talking about getting rid of taxes, we don't know whether or not taxes will be around too much longer. We have no idea, but we know it's going to be around next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
We know it's going to be around next year. And we know it's going to be around the year after that. Now, what happens in 2028? Who knows? But for the next 2 years, you can really plan out to make sure that you are receiving the maximum benefit that's allowed according to the law. You don't have to do anything illegal. You could do everything above board.
Absolutely.
Everything above board.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I want to talk about is anyone that is self-employed. I want you to do yourself a favor and look up a SEP plan, a self-employment plan, because a lot of people who are self-employed do not have a self-employment plan, which is similar to a 401k, similar to an IRA, but is structured for people who are self-employed, right? Because when you're self-employed, you need to be planning your retirement. So putting away $50 a week, $100 a month, that adds up over time. That adds up over time compared to putting nothing up. Okay. Some people say, well, can I be a W-2 working for a company and also have my business on the side and open up a SEP plan? Yes. As long as you're self-employed.
Yes.
Okay. You can go to any bank. Fidelity.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to any bank and open
Vanguard.
up a SEP plan. Vanguard. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And open up a self-employment plan. Now, the other thing I'm going to post here on high yield savings accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people keep their money in the bank. We're going to talk about that next week. Okay. The difference of keeping your money in the bank versus putting your money in a high yield account.
Mm-hmm.
And how could that benefit? And will you be penalized if you were to make a withdrawal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And also, we're going to cover next week on if you were to take out money for your 401k plan to start a business, is it taxable? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you have an emergency, is it taxable? Because
Yes.
when you go to go ahead, Plum.
No, I was saying, please. I know you would say if you're doing it, I don't want people in my business. I'm not going to put that I'm doing it to get a house. You don't even understand. You're doing yourself a disservice when you don't.
Yes.
That they're there for a reason. Those selections on if you're about to get foreclosed, if you're about to, face eviction, it's a hardship. Yeah, all of the things. I'm doing it for tuition. That makes a difference. It's coded differently. When you just say, I just want the money, and you don't tell them, but then later on come and tell us, oh, well, I did it for that. Well, this is what the paperwork says, that the code tells it all, or what the purpose was. So it puts you in a different
box 7, if it says this, if it have a number 7, we know that it's taxable, 100% taxable.
Absolutely.
So we have to go according to what is being presented in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
What you say verbally is something totally different.
Yeah,
Now,
we
what
can't
I
contradict what the paperwork is saying.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
you could go back to your home human resources and say, "Hey, listen, I need this to be corrected."
Yes,
And if they
absolutely.
agree with you, they will issue a corrected document
Yeah, absolutely.
to prove what you're stating. So that's
Mm-hmm.
extremely important.
Absolutely.
Um, the other thing I wanted to talk about for anyone who is thinking about adopting a child, I know many people don't know there is an adoption tax credit. There is an adoption tax credit. So if you are thinking about adopting any children, if you think about adopting any children, please by all means um, take that in full consideration because there is a serious tax deduction that you can receive by doing an adoption. And there's a lot of children that are waiting to be adopted. Thousands of kids that are waiting to be adopted. Thousands of kids being waiting to be adopted. Now, I also want to um, let me see. The other thing is something that I think is going to be beneficial. Um, oh, it's so many. It's so many. Oh, one in particular I definitely want to say is that because of the increase in fraud in 2024 tax year, which increased from prior years, if you have not received a protection pin, I advise you to do so. A protection pin. I advise Shakira, you can stick that in those comments when you get a chance in the chat. A
Yeah,
protection pin
from the
basically,
IRS.gov.
yeah. What that does is it allow you to be protected so that if someone tries to use your social security number and file your tax returns, it will come up rejected if they do not have the PIN number. It will come up rejected if they don't have the PIN number. The PIN number may change. It does change yearly. Okay. Now I do want to say this. If you're filing your tax returns and you're filing 3 years consecutively, then the PIN number will be the same for all 3 years because you file them at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a
However,
new PIN number per tax year.
per tax year.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. But
Different.
I advise everyone who please get yourself a PIN number. It's very easy. It's free.
Mm-hmm.
Internal Revenue Service will issue it right away. If you have children, get them a PIN number. Okay. Because listen, let's just face it. You might have a guest that's coming over to your house spending the night. You may love them, don't mean any harm. They stay searching through your things, find out your social security and your kids, take it, file your return. You never know who did it. You can't remember. But oftentimes it's somebody from the inside. Oftentimes it's somebody from the inside. Not all the time, because it could be some people from other outlets. But either way, protect yourself. Protect yourself. What I want to do right now is I'm gonna see whether I could pull this up. I'm hoping I could pull this up. Oh my goodness, it would be so important if I could pull this up. I had written. I'm hoping that I can pull it up, y'all. I'm gonna try it. I don't know that I'll be able to play it from here. If I play it from my phone, maybe they'll hear it, right? You think?
Hopefully.
Because when I tried to do it the other way, it didn't agree with me. So this is something that many of you may not know. I love to write. I've been writing all my life. I actually get it from my mom. And I wrote several plays. I'm hoping to be able to get those out in the near future. But this is a remix that I did on Mama Said It for our intro. Mama said, baby, storms gon' roll in heavy. Rain don't mean forever, it's just temporary. She held my hand, said keep your feet steady. Tears fell like rivers, but her words stayed ready. Under gray skies, her voice, the sun in my chest. No map for the journey, but her love knew the rest. She said, lift your head when the winds hiss. Pray, child, pray, cause there'll be days like this. Mama said, there'll be days like this. Keep your faith, don't let the lights slip. Fall to your knees, let the weight lift. Mama said, there'll be days like this. She sang hymns in the kitchen, soul on repeat. Her apron, my shield, her voice, my heartbeat. Taught me how to stand tall, how to take heat. Life through the punches. She said, baby, don't retreat. She preached grace like roots that dig deep. Told me when you sow love, the harvest runs sweet. Lift your voice when the dark tries to twist. Pray, child, pray, cause it'll be days like this. Mama said there'll be days like this. Keep your faith, don't let the light slip. Fall to your knees, let the weight lift. Mama said there'll be days like this. There you have it. Written by none other than Regina. Okay, listen. I know next week we're gonna dive in. We're gonna probably talk about a little bit less, but more and more about taxes. We're going to do a pop-up. We're going to try to do a pop-up on Wednesday, introducing our list that we have. And listen, it's only a few dollars. It's not even going to cost that much. It's only a few. I think it's like, what, $7, something like that, Shakira? It's like a minimum fee. It's minimum fee, but we really want people to be able to, get the information so that you'll be able to know what to write off on your tax returns. That's very, very important. Because once you know what to write off on your tax return, you'll be ahead of the game. You'll be a few steps ahead. Okay?
Absolutely.
Yes. Do you have any last comments you want to say, Shakira?
No, just everybody be kind to someone. You don't know what they're going through. And be thankful.
Please be thankful.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I want to say that, protect your peace, everyone. Take your time and protect your peace. If watching TV is getting the best of you, cut it off. Cut it off, please cut it off. Because the one thing, we don't know how this is triggering our brain until something happens. Okay, so please just, we know that there's a lot of things going on with the Republican and Democrat side. We know our lives are going to be affected, but if you believe in God, you know that He has everything in control. And one of the things I know that my sister said, that we have to stay fast because God is allowing this to happen, and He's allowing it to happen for a reason. And I totally agree with her, 100%. As they say, God makes no mistakes. So
Absolutely.
everyone, thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of Mama Said It. We will be here with you again next week, same time, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So please make sure you set your clock, your calendar, and join us for another episode of Mama Said It. God bless you guys. Have a great week.